This is the disc golf collaboration no one saw coming. Prodigy Disc and Nerf. Yep, that's right. The company behind such products as foam basketball, foam football, and foam bow and arrow is now bringing the foam revolution to disc golf. And what do disc golfers think of this collaboration?
Something cool.
Whoa, this is cool.
They are very cool.
It's cool.
I'm an 80s kid, so Nerf rules.
And I agree. Cool. But I have some questions. Hey everyone, it's Greg from Six Sided Discs, and my initial reaction to this collaboration, much like the players I showed it to this past weekend, was cool. Nerf is cool, and it's a big, well-known brand getting into disc golf, and it seems like a lot of people share that reaction. But the more I think about it and the more I look at these discs, the more questions I have. So let's make our way through those questions in search of any answers we may find, beginning with, what are they? Well, to put it simply, they are super lightweight disc golf discs. Weighing in at around 100 grams, that makes them lighter than even the lightest discs on the market, like Dino discs, or even Trash Panda's Toss and Catch inner core. Another thing that makes them basically different from every other disc golf disc is that they're not made of plastic or rubber. Yeah, you can actually tell before you ever feel them because they don't have the telltale sign of plastic injection molding. A sprue, or as we like to call it, a disc's belly button. Belly button-free discs have to come from a different manufacturing process, such as 3D printing, compression molding, or in this case, something else. I don't actually know how they make foam discs. I'm guessing it's something similar to rubber, but anyways, these new Prodigy Nerf discs are made of Nerf's patented soft foam material, which of course makes them very light. However, they don't immediately feel super light. I think it's because the foam is actually quite dense. They feel a little bit heavier than I expected, which takes me to my next question. Who actually makes these? Look closely at the top, bottom, and sides of the disc, and well, the name Prodigy is nowhere to be found. In fact, the only place I've found it so far is right here on the back of the packaging. But this is supposed to be a Prodigy and Nerf collaboration. So where exactly does Prodigy fit in this collaboration? I reached out to Prodigy directly to try and get an answer to this question, among several others, but I have yet to get a response. And generally, I don't like to speculate on our channel, but I think here with this particular collaboration, we can make some educated guesses, simply based on what these two companies are good at. Nerf is good at making foam products. So I think we can safely assume that Nerf makes the discs themselves, because it wouldn't really make sense to share that proprietary manufacturing process with a company that doesn't even make foam products, like Prodigy. However, disc golf disc design is complicated, and you can't just make a foam frisbee and expect it to fly like a disc golf disc, especially when that disc is super lightweight. In all likelihood, a super lightweight foam frisbee designed by a non-disc golf company would fly pretty bad. So I think we can safely assume that Prodigy had a really important role in the design of these discs, which we will talk a little bit more about later. Prodigy is also likely handling distribution, which I think is their primary role here. Prodigy has a direct line of communication and history of serving both disc golfers and disc golf retailers. Nerf has the connection to get their foam disc into traditional brick-and-mortar retailers like Walmart or Dick's Sporting Goods, while Prodigy, of course, can get these discs into every disc golf retail shop in the world. And again, I know I'm speculating, but I feel pretty good about my educated guesses. So we know what the discs are made of, we think we know who makes them, but why? Who has been looking for a 100-gram PDGA-approved disc? Why make them in the first place? Well, apart from the obvious yay capitalism, let's make money, the why make them question is probably best answered by asking another question. Who are they for? Yes, who are they for? I think we can all agree that at 100 grams, they're not designed for professional disc golfers or even medium to high-level amateurs to add another 100 feet to their game. It seems to me that they are designed with beginners in mind. The marketing on Prodigy's website and in their emails talks about schools, kids playing indoors, maybe trying to bring disc golf to a mainstream audience via school gym classes that didn't want kids throwing plastic discs at full speed indoors. And being made for beginners makes total sense until you look at the price. Most starter sets are pretty inexpensive. Discraft is about $30. Innova starter sets come in around $20 to $30. Dynamic Discs has one for $25. Heck, we even sell a mystery box, the beginner box, for $30 with free shipping that comes with 3 discs. And how much is the Prodigy Nerf starter set? $40. nearly twice the price of the Dynamic Discs starter set. Now, if this was for a premium plastic starter set, which some companies do sell, that's not a bad price. 3 premium discs for $40 to $50 is a pretty good price. But 3 100-gram foam discs? Ultimately, we won't know if they're worth $40 until we ask ourselves, what are these discs actually like? Well, they are strangely impressive. Let's go through disc by disc, starting with the putter. This is the Prodigy Nerf putter. It's a flat-top, chunky design, and eagle-eyed viewers will probably see some similarities in the design to the quite popular PA3 from Prodigy. Perhaps further evidence that Prodigy was involved in the design process, as I doubt Nerf comes up with this wing shape on their own. The putter has flight numbers of 2201, and it flies surprisingly like the numbers suggest. For me, at low power, it flips to flat from the slightest of hyzer releases, but still comfortably fades back. Our friend Jesse had a similar experience, giving it some solid power into a bit of a headwind. It impressively didn't turn over, and even had some decent fade. Jesse's buddy Brian, however, had enough power to get it turned, and it stayed there. And that's already pretty impressive for a 100-gram disc, but no putter's worth a darn if you can't putt with it. So how well does a 100-gram putter putt? Well, for Brian and Jesse, not so well, despite their best efforts. But I must have said something that made them think I didn't respect their effort, because I got the old, okay, you try then, and so I did.
All right, Greg, show us how it's done.
Yeah.
And honestly, I don't know what their deal was, because I sunk my first 3 putts in a row, much to their dismay.
No problem.
All day. Okay.
No problem.
All right.
So a 100-gram putter can catch chains even on a windy day. Again, impressive. Now for the mid-range, which my wife Emily pointed out looks a little bit like the Yarn, which is my favorite approach disc from Castaplast. But this immediately confused me, because the Yarn is a super overstable mid-range, and this is rated at 4.5 -2.1, suggesting that it's a bit understable. And that can only mean one thing. Prodigy must have had a hand in assigning the flight numbers as well. Because to put it simply, a super lightweight 100-gram foam disc is going to have far less gyroscopic stability than other materials, because there's less weight to work with in the first place. And to compensate for that inherent understability, they've given them fairly overstable wing designs. After all, here is an actual PA3 flying, quite overstable. Here is a Yarn, also very overstable. But here is the Nerf mid-range, turning. And turning, and turning some more. I guess when you combine a super lightweight disc with a really beefy wing design, you get a mildly understable disc. How about that? On now to the driver, rated at 9.4 -2.2, and it features another fairly chunky blunt nose, and just like the putter and mid-range before it, it has no right to fly as well as it does. Brian gave it a full-on rip, and it barely turns at all, before a nice big fade. I had a similar experience throwing it nice and flat, where it fairly quickly fights out of the turn to fade back aggressively. So they flew pretty well for me and for a couple other adults, but who are these discs actually for? After all, they should appeal to and are being marketed to kids. So let's see what a kid thinks of it. And here's not just any kid, but my kid. Eli is 11, he likes to occasionally throw discs in the backyard, and generally doesn't take disc golf too seriously. So how do they fly for him? Pretty darn good. In fact, so good that after his first few throws, he insisted on pulling out the rangefinder to discover that he hit a new personal best distance of 190 feet.
Yay!
Which begs the question, are these discs actually good? Well, this kid certainly thinks so. And I think I agree. On paper, a 100-gram disc should be pretty much useless, but they most definitely aren't. They're actually quite useful. I'm really surprised how well they fly. I'm very surprised with how consistent the flight is. And I'm also very surprised that despite how slick they feel, they never gave us anything other than a clean release. Okay, but are there any drawbacks? For me, there are two obvious drawbacks. The first I mentioned earlier is price. I really do think that $16 for a foam disc is too much. But I think because it's a different material, they're almost not the same as regular starter sets, so it's almost not comparing apples to apples. That's probably the best thing I can say about the price. The other potential drawback I see is durability. So to find out how durable they are, we asked a few more questions. Do they float? Yes. How long until they absorb water? Well, apparently so long as the outer coating on the foam is intact, they seem like they'll just keep on floating. Can I fold it in half and break it? No. Despite my best efforts, it showed no signs of breaking in half. Can I rip it in half? Maybe? Yes, but honestly, it was harder than I expected. Oh, and it's blue in the middle. That's cool. How well will it hold up hitting a road or sidewalk? Not great. This mark here is from a single throw landing on the road. This is after rubbing it against a brick for like 10 seconds. And this is after about 1 minute of really trying to rough it up. How long until they absorb water after the outside layer is broken? Honestly, I'm not sure. We left these two with their exposed inner foam in the water for a couple hours, and they were still happy to float. And how do they fly when they're full of water? I guess we'll never know. Overall, I'm at least a little impressed with the durability of the foam. If we assume that only kids are buying these, then maybe they'll hold up better than if full-grown adults are throwing them hard into trees and other obstacles on a course. But kids are also not the most reliable when it comes to taking care of their things, so all in all, it's not so bad. But then again, if you bought a $16 mid-grade plastic from any other disc golf manufacturer, you'd be pretty disappointed if you could just rip it in half or scuff it up this badly, hitting a curb or sidewalk. And those two drawbacks are a little bit of a compounding problem. Nevertheless, armed with everything that we've learned so far, let's ask our final question. Should you buy them? This ultimately boils down to how you play. If you're a competitive player focused on improving your game, I don't think the Prodigy Nerf discs have much to offer you. But if you, like many disc golfers, love to have a good time throwing frisbee-ish things around with your friends, then you're going to want one of each of these, including the ultimate frisbee one, to just have fun with your buddies. And at the end of the day, that is a huge part of what disc golf is all about. I really went into this particular first impression analysis with a decent bit of skepticism, and I definitely still have reservations about the price and durability. But if at the end of the day, disc golf gets introduced to more people, and specifically more kids, so that they can discover all the wonderful things that our sport has to offer, then who am I to say that they shouldn't? What do you all think of the Prodigy Nerf discs? Would you buy one? And would you have enjoyed them in gym class when you were a kid? Let us know in the comments below. And also comment below what other discs and brands you'd like us to explore in the future. The Prodigy Nerf collaboration releases on Thursday, May 28th. For Six Sided Discs, I'm Greg. We'll see you in the next one. So I guess when you combine a super lightweight disc. You guys ever seen Mike Tyson play disc golf?
That's too much.
You sat, you good.
That's terrible.
So these flew. In fact, the only place that I've found it so far is on the back of the packaging.
Jeez,
Oh, that's not that far.
Alright.
you gotta put that on the blooper reel.
What do you all think of the Prodigy Nerf discs? Would you enjoy them? No. Bah.
Yay!
Hello there. Yes. Hi.
Tell me what you think
How's it
about
going?
these Nerf discs.
Wow, it's significantly light. I want to put it in a gun and shoot somebody with it. Because it's Nerf or nothing.
That sounds kind of. I don't know if we can put that on
we
the
have
internet.
Do we have the
Cut.
Do we have like
We're gonna
the
cut.
the
Let's try
Nerf
again. Yes, sir. Please state your name for the record.
Plead the fifth.
Okay.
I'll never buy one because it's not pink.
Oof. Good luck, Nerf.
If they can make blue, they can make pink. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah.
If you like this content and want to see more, please consider liking the video, subscribing to our channel, or becoming a member. Your support makes this content possible.